day, everyone. I am here today to present to you my action research proposal. But first, let me introduce myself. I am Jeremy Ligardi, Best Ed Math 3 student, and my research proposal is entitled Effects on Mathematics Learners, a Case of Modular Learning COVID-19 Pandemic. As far as we all know, despite of the current pandemic, schools have continued to operate through various modes of instruction. DepEd, for example, has adopted the modular instruction for their students. In this case, students are left with learning modules and learn on their own through the modules. However, as observed, many students prefer to look for money for food than to read and answer the modules. In this observation, due to need for the food or due to ineffectiveness of module, especially in mathematics subject. Regardless the ground that the students have to make up during the 20 to 2021 academic year will probably be greater due to COVID-19. Prior research on students displayed by Hurricane Katrina indicates that they had difficulty concentrating and often manifested symptoms of depressions in months following the hurricane. Understanding these impacts and how best to support students' social and emotional needs after the use of disruption of COVID-19 will be essential. Many students may face greater food insecurity, loss of family income, loss of family members to the coronavirus, and fear of catching the virus themselves. At least 24 million children are projected to drop out of school due to COVID-19. A number of students' background characteristics, including demographics and past experience, are like to whether students drop out or graduate. Dropout rates are generally higher for males than females, and they are higher for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans than for Asians and whites. Yet, this difference may be related to gender characteristics of students as well as characteristics of their families, schools, and communities. According to the study by the National Center of Education Statistics, students with low family income have the highest dropout rates at 9.4%. This is because many times these children need to get a job rather than going to school so they can help to support their families. Creative options exist for students who must earn money while in school, including work-study programs. Students can earn credit for working part-time jobs and online programs for students who take classes when they aren't at work. In addition, families may be eligible for financial resources. Communication with school administrators on the impact of financial difficulties can provide a range of options that will assist the family and keep the student in school. In this section, the rationale of this research will be discussed. Earlier study that modular learning has hard and make bored to some students. This is study we need to see if the students are learning or not, since the number of students of dropouts are increasingly high rate for food and anything. In this case, we need to evaluate that what would be the cause to this problem and to address with it. As we all know, dropping out of school has numerous problems of high school as the most important reason why he queens extend to all sectors of society or she left. The objectives of this research is to determine the effects on mathematics learner in modular classes. Despite the current pandemic, schools have continued to operate through various modes of instructions. Modular, online, and the combination of both become the major learning approaches to instructions. DepEd, for example, has adopted the modular instruction for their students. In this case, students are left with learning modules and learn on their own through the modules. However, as we observed, many students prefer to look for money for food than to read and answer the modules. Is this observation due to the need for food or due to an effectiveness of the modules? The study focuses on determining the effects into the learner to see they are learning or preferable to stop on learning mathematics through modular approach. The respondents of this study are only those junior high school students of Dulugo National High School, Kiarong Annex. This study conducted with limited and time framework. The study also examined a large number of other aspects for which, at aggregated level, there is no evidence of correlation with the probability of dropout. This applies to academic and practical framework setting, introduction to study techniques, establishment of study groups, and alcohol consumption. There is no documentable effect of these factors on the short-term probability of dropouts. However, this does not mean that these aspects cannot have significance for students' well-being and for their academic and social integration. Although there is no evidence of correlation with short-term dropout rates, the above factors could still help create a better study start for the students in correlation to other parameters. According to Dahl, Islami, and Walters, 2013, entitled Understanding Why Students Drop Out of High School according to their own reports, are they push or pull or do they fall out? A comparative analysis of 7 nationally representative studies that the research on school dropouts extends from early 20th century pioneers until now, marking trends of causes and prevention. However, specific dropout causes reported by students from several nationally representative studies have never been examined together, which, if done, could lead to a better understanding of the dropouts problem. Push, pull, and pulling out factors provide a framework for understanding dropouts. Push factors include school consequence on attendance or discipline. Pull factor include out-of-school antecedents like jobs and family. Finally, filling out factors refers to a disengagement in students not caused by school or outside pulling factors. Since 1966, most national representative studies depicted pull factors as ranked the highest. Also, administrator in one study collaborated pull out factors for younger dropouts, not older ones, while most recent research cites push factors as a highest overall one rationale for these chances. Is a response to rising standard from No Child Left Behind, which can be ultimately tested only by future dropout research. According to the study of Latif, Choudhary, and Hamayuni, 2015, Economics Effects of Students Dropout, a comparative study, that in globally perspective, it is an incontestable fact that the progress of a nation is highly dependent on the education of their citizens. Education plays a central role and has a cross-cutting impacts on all aspects of human life. It is a vital investment for human and economic development. The main purpose of this study is to explore the cause of students dropout and their impact on economy. This research finds out that the reason of dropouts in Pakistan and more importantly comparative analysis of the causes of students dropout globally. The findings of this study are drawn from the extensive literature review of a students' dropouts in different countries. Financially, problems, parents' unwillingness, distance, and lack of basic facilities, bad quality of education, inadequate school environment and building, overload classroom, improper language of teaching, carelessness of teachers, and security problem in girls' school are found as major causes of students dropout in different countries. This study also finds out the effects of students dropout on economy and suggests some remedial measures to reduce students dropout. Study also has some policies implication for policymakers to combat this problem, such as free education program, curriculum adjustment, teachers training workshop, and provision of all facilities in school. According to the study of Bridgeland 2010, conduct a study entitled The New Drop Challenge, Bridging Gaps Among Students, Parents, and Teachers, that interview and survey data reveal significant disconnects among the insights and perspective of dropouts, parents, teachers, and administrators on the causes and solution to the dropout challenge. Many educators, for example, do not see boredom as a factor for most dropouts, while young people who drop out see it as a central cause. The author argues that if these disconnects are not more fully understood and bridged, they will continue to set back efforts to keep more students in school and on track to graduate ready for post-secondary education. Models on how communication can engage these constituencies in productive dialogue and transformative action are included in reports and in Grand Nation, a guidebook that helps communities tackle their drop crisis. According to the study of Ramberger, Lim, 2008, Why Students Drop Out of School, a review of 25 years of research. To address the dropout crisis requires a better understanding of why students drop out. Although dropouts themselves report a variety of reasons for leaving school, these reasons do not reveal the underlying causes, especially multiple factors in elementary or middle school that may influence students' attitudes, behaviors, and performance in high school prior to dropping out. To better understand the underlying causes behind the student's decision for dropping out, this study reviewed the past 25 years of research on dropouts. The review is based on 203 published studies that analyze a variety of nation, states, and local data to identify statistically significant and predictors of high school dropouts and graduation. Although in any particular study is difficult to demonstrate a causal relationship between any single factor and the decision to quit school, a large number of studies with similar findings thus suggest a strong connections. The research review identified two types of factors that predicts whether students drop out or graduate from high school. Factors associated with individual characteristics of students and factors associated with the institutional characteristics of their families, school, and communities. According to their study, Barry, Irvin, Jordan, Hanuma, and Farmer 2014, reasons for student dropout in an online course in a rural K-12 settings, that the reason given by the students and facilitator for dropping the course were usually in agreement with each other, although there were times when the reason students and facilitator give for the students dropping out of the online course disagreed. Reasons generally fall within the following categories that are discussed further below: scheduling and time constraint, academic rigor of class and motivation, technology problems, problem with online medium and lack of teacher immediacy, and parental influence. In addition, some students drop out of the online course because of the combination factors. This chapter views the methodology of the study contains the detailed discussion of the following part: research design, participants, instrument, and procedure of the study. The study employed qualitative design to find out students' opinions about the effects on mathematics to a learner. A questionnaire includes 5 open-ended questions which the researcher who taught the unit established the content and face validity of the question was carried out. The aim was to find out students' opinions regarding the effects on mathematics in learners, with the modular classes if they learn or got the reason to drop out for necessity. The participant is only one a secondary student in selected secondary school of Dulugo National High School, Kiharong Annex. The participant in this study is enrolled in grade 11 this school year 2020 to 2021 with a particular subject math. The instrument used to gather information about the effects on mathematics learner in modular classes in Dulugo National High School, Kiharong Annex. This is made by the researcher itself and without any adaptation from the previous researches. The interview, composed of 6 questions including the background, and the students simply answer the question with an audio record. The question of this interview is simply and easy to understand by the select students. The researcher will give a consent letter first to respond asking a permission to be part of this study. The researcher asks some question in the given interview within the nearest area for safety purposes. The selected student will be observed and interviewed as part of determining the effects on mathematics learner in modular classes. The researcher will be interpret and analyze the information given by the respondent through in the face-to-face interview and observation. The selected students will be given 15 to 30 minutes to answer the question given for an interview, and it was noted as 30 minutes as a long time. Question for interview.